foremost, let me talk about that Ryan Murphy put me in a unitard after 7 months of quarantine. So don't think I wasn't stark raving mad about that. It was like, really? Really? A onesie? Hey, it's Billy Porter here, and I play Pray Tell.
I'm Emmy-nominated Rodriguez, and I play Blanca.
I'm Stephen Canals, co-creator, executive producer, and director.
Hi there, I'm Barry Lee Moe, hair department head.
I'm Sherry Berman Lawrence. I'm the makeup designer and department head.
And this is Variety's Making a Scene.
I hope you enjoy. So, Dr. Christopher, what do you think of our humble abode?
I loved it. In this scene, we have Blanca Evangelista and Pray Tell performing at the ball. The scene is important in the context of the final episode because it's the last time that Blanca and Pray Tell will ever spend time together in this way in the ballroom, which has been such an important part of both of their journeys.
Reading the words off the pages, there was a moment that came up, Diana Ross song playing in the background, Blanca and Pray Tell's feet grazed the camera screen. And I was intrigued the moment I saw that. And I was extremely excited because I'm a huge Diana Ross fan, but also, I was raised on R&B music, and that's the only music I know how to like groove and move to. I was just like, this is going to be a great song to perform to.
The significance of choosing Diana Ross as an artist, and specifically her version of Ain't No Mountain High Enough, was that we wanted a song that was really uplifting, but the finale as a whole has a lot of callbacks to previous moments. And the first time that we ever saw Blanca and Pray Tell perform together was when they sang Home. That is a song that Diana Ross sings. And so we loved bookending their final performance together with another Diana Ross song.
I thought it was very smart how they wrote it. There's an operatic, epic importance to it. It felt bigger than us. Telling the story has always felt bigger than us, has always felt bigger than the microcosm that is the cast and the show and the producers and the da-da-da. You know, it's always felt to me bigger than simply myself. And in this moment, that performance, the way it was written, really spoke to that to me.
There were a lot of challenges to this particular scene. The moment that we as a writer's room decided that Diana Ross was who we wanted, I said, what about if we do a nod to her Central Park performance where it was raining and we have literal rain coming down in the ballroom?
That's when I gagged. I was like, oh my God, there's gonna be rain. Okay, so this is the complete epic finale kind of finish. This is the right way to finish a show. You have rain falling, you give them the Flashdance feel, everything.
The rain part, you know, once again, not my favorite. Had to get my spirit together for it. MJ was just fine with it. At the end where they had us ad-libbing, MJ goes, and I'm just prancing around her because I'm a little bit more pragmatic because I'm about 20 years older than her. So I was just making sure I didn't like crack a hip or something.
We had our dear Fred Buchholz, who does all of our practical effects, and he created a sprinkler system up at the rooftop of our ballroom set so that rain could pour down on top of Billy and MJ as they were performing. But there were still other practical things we had to think about. So for example, once rain is falling in the ballroom set, like, are we just going to have a lot of water, you know, down on the ground? The other thing is that our ballroom set is actually built up higher than the actual ground of our stage. And so we had to treat the wood on the ballroom set first, before we could even test whether or not the rain would work. And then once we actually tested the rain, we knew that Billy and MJ were going to get wet. And so there was going to have to be hair and costume and makeup changes.
We had to build multiple wigs for each Billy and MJ because you have to start thinking logistically about How are we going to reset this quickly if we need to, not knowing how we're going to film it? All of those wigs are human hair. And then I will take the lace front of the wig and I will reventilate a new hairline on the wig, which is where you tie individual knots of hair to recreate the hairline of that actor.
With Barry, it was always a collaboration. I told him, I was like, I would love it to be big and, bushy and moving. And he was like, all right, I already have that in my mind. Now we're going to bump it up a little bit.
Billy's was a little bit shorter than MJ's, and it didn't take as much to pull it together. But with MJ, I knew that that moment needed to be really impactful when she stepped out on the stage. And so with her, we wanted to give her just the biggest, most iconic Diana Ross hair that we could. And so I added in 4 extra packs of hair to her wig. And by the end, we just had this amazing mane of hair that was perfect for the scene.
When we first read the script with this scene, my first thought was, oh my God, it's going to be pouring rain. How are we going to do a huge makeup design and waterproof it at the same time? With the crystals, we use special effects glue rather than just the typical eyelash glue. And we would shave all of our eyeshadows and our blushes onto a palette and use Cosette mixing liquid to waterproof it. But the tricky part about that is you have to do it so quickly because it dries so quickly and you can't blend. And it was a challenge, but we kind of worked it out.
You have a lot of things to think about when you're considering water in a scene. What products am I using in the hair? How is this product going to respond to water? With Billy, the texture of his wig, which you see once it gets wet, was actually like a very tight, kinky, curly wig. But the product was the big thing. You want to use product to make sure it stays in place. But I had to really focus on using leave-in conditioners and products that when activated with water, they weren't going to get sticky or kind of disrupt the texture of the hair like a hairspray would. MJ had so many packs of hair sewn into that wig that I had to make sure that, is the head even going to be able to support this once it's wet? Because there's so much, and that it was pinned adequately and that everything was properly installed on their heads so that they didn't get distracted by it in the moment or feel like it was pulling them out of the scene.
We never really tested them with full makeup in water beforehand. So we kind of did our own little test in the trailer with Billy. He was such a good sport. We did his makeup and then we sprayed Evian above him and just kept spraying him and seeing how much water he could take and what would run and what didn't. And the poor guy, I mean, he could barely open his eyes and he was just like, oh, okay. It was hilarious, but the actual shooting of it was much easier.
Once we figured all of that out, then we actually went through a process of rain tests with both MJ and with Billy, where we actually had them performing in the rain just to see what it would look like on camera. Then we had them perform with their hair and makeup and costume just so that we could see the way that the rain hit them. So it was a really lengthy process to get through. But once we had we dot all our I's and crossed all of our T's, I think we all felt really great. And so the day that we actually shot the scene, I was still a little nervous because we didn't have a lot of opportunities to go in and do the scene. And so we really had to be very economical.
I remember something that Steven said, and MJ, this is her moment of reckoning and knowing that her and Praytel have a chance of surviving and actually being able to tell the story. And I needed that at that moment because I was so excited to form it. But I needed those words too to really solidify and ground that scene itself. He made sure that I was delivering the scene like how it needed to be delivered for the collective, not just for Praytel and Blanca, not just for the community specifically by themselves. It was a collective. It was, look at where we've come to. Look at how far we've come. Look at the work that has been done outside of our community and that's helping the community slowly but surely. This is what this moment is for.
And so we filmed the first take. That spin wasn't part of the original choreography. Like she did that fully on her own. And I was like, what is going? And like everybody was just like couldn't believe what they were seeing, because I think we're so used to seeing MJ play Blanca, and Blanca so put together, and MJ just let loose, and we all had goosebumps, and people were really emotional seeing her fully just own that moment, which was really beautiful.
I wanted to give it my all, no matter if I hurt myself or if I didn't, because I knew the audience deserved that, and I knew they wanted that.
Seeing this scene come to life was really special. It was really beautiful, and I felt so proud of the work, and especially what MJ and Billy brought to it.
I'm a lucky girl.
Nope. He's the lucky one. Because he got a real one. One of the things that I said when I sat down to shoot that scene was, this is the surrender and the death of Pray Tell, and it's the rebirth of Billy. I lived through the AIDS crisis. I became HIV positive in 2007. The shame surrounding that diagnosis for me for 14 years. Pray Tell was releasing everything. Pray Tell was surrendering. And so have I, to release the past, to release all the shame, and to be able to stand in my truth and my authenticity and live another day to tell a different story. I'm so grateful, and I'll keep saying it, I'm so grateful to have lived long enough to see this day, to see the day where I get to be who I am in the world.